Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Pulse 365 recording. It's Tom and Tamara show today. Jen and Adam are off doing very busy things. So we're going to take you through in development. There's nothing in rolling out this week. And then we'll go into launched and canceled. So Tom, do you want to start us off?
Sure. As has become the norm lately, I'm going to cover a whole lot of things on a single topic. And unfortunately for all of you, they're all geeky things that Adam would normally cover, but of course, Adam's not here. So I'm going to be doing a lot of reading, and hopefully you'll get the gist of what we're dealing with here. So to lead off, there's one item in development for the Microsoft Compliance Center. Compliance capabilities for card content generated through apps and Teams. So basically, if you want to be able to get that compliance information or compliance activities to go down to content for Teams apps, you're going to be able to have that capability now. And that's due January of next year, which is getting really close.
Yeah, it is.
Everything is all related to Azure Advanced Threat Protection, Microsoft Defender for Identity. And there's a number of items here that I'm going to go ahead and read off because I'm not the geeky member in this. I'm just going to give you the basic information. I'm not going to try to elaborate on it because I have nothing to elaborate on these topics. But here we go. The first one is advanced functions in the M365 Security Center. This will include the ability to create your initial Defender for Identity instance. This rollout sees all settings made available except for tagging and exclusions. Administrators will also be able to monitor sensor health from within this view. Next one, Defender for Identity's administrative, I just read that one, never mind. Next one, really the next one. Full alert experience in Microsoft 365 Security Center. So Defender for Identity will offer its full alert and investigation experiences natively within the M365 Security Center. So you're not going to have to go and find it in various places now. The next one is the new detection golden ticket using AES encryption. That almost sounds like we're doing something from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. An alert already exists to detect instances where an attacker downgrades the encryption level of the ticket granting system, TGT field. But this new alert introduces detection capabilities for when an attacker uses the KRB TGT AES hash to generate the ticket. This is why I'm not an admin. This alert will find cases where the AES TGT is used for Kerberos TGT, where we don't see a Kerberos authentication request within the previous service request. Easy for admins to say, I'm not one. The next one, detection improvement for net logon. An elevation of privilege vulnerability exists when an attacker establishes a vulnerable net logon secure channel connection to a domain controller using the net logon remote protocol, also known as net logon elevation of privilege vulnerability. Defender for Identity already has a detection for this, but this improvement adds capabilities to determine potential encryption and null source account logic detection to the alert, improving accuracy and potential for false positives. Man, I miss Adam right now. Next one, detection improvement, suspicious additions to sensitive groups. New logs are being added to the detection logic for what is quote unquote normal in a particular environment. This will remove an initial dependency on establishing a baseline so that detection is available to use immediately for known sensitive groups. In other words, this eliminates the need for a learning period to conclude before you can take advantage of this alert that may indicate signs of an attack or potential insider threat. 2 more to go. Actually, no, that was it. The rest are yours, dearest. Go for it.
Thanks. In Microsoft Teams live events, presenters can now present, well, not now, but in February of 2021, can present from their iPads to the audience. So this is a big thing. A lot of people use iPads. It's nice that you'll be able to do, instead of just attend a live event, you'll be actually be able to be a presenter. Not yet a producer, but a presenter nonetheless.
It'll get a
And
lot.
then we have Microsoft Teams. The multi-window meetings and calling experience is coming to GCC High and DoD.
Ooh,
Very excited.
woohoo.
Rolling out this December. Can't wait to see that in my client's environment. And then Microsoft To Do, a new sharing experience. There's invites and less sharing. So Microsoft is revamping the list sharing in To Do to facilitate an in-app mechanism to add users to shared lists using their names and email IDs. So it'll be easier to share information with people when you're using your to-dos.
Good.
And then last thing in development is Microsoft Teams meeting recordings being saved to OneDrive and to SharePoint for GCC. And that's coming out in January. So instead of going to Stream, they'll be going to your OneDrive and your SharePoint environment, depending on where you're having your meeting. So if you're having it in a one-on-one chat, it's going to your OneDrive. If you're having it in a channel, it'll go to your SharePoint environment.
Yeah, that's that's definitely one of these issues or one of these updates that you should really look into, because it does, as stated, change where your things will be stored at, but it gives them different options in terms of permission setting,
Yeah, it
in
makes it a lot
terms of
easier to share.
quota. Yeah. But it also has a few feature gaps of what you get right now and what isn't quite there yet for initial rollout. So again, take some time to look at that if this is something that you use a lot, and understand what the full ramifications are. Because if you're doing one-on-one chats and you're saving them thinking they're going out to Teams or they're automatically in Streams and they're in your OneDrive and you leave, all of those could be gone and you may not know it. So definitely something to look at.
Right. It's also going to eat a lot of your storage.
True, but considering that the storage quotas for Microsoft Stream in the Azure Media thing were a lot less than what you have in a regular SharePoint quota environment, I think this will be better. But yeah, all of a sudden you may find that you've got, terabytes of stuff that is eaten into your SharePoint and Microsoft 365 quotas that you wonder where it all came from. Well, it's your videos now, so.
Okay.
Something to
Well,
look at,
Tom, are
definitely.
you ready to launch into the launched?
Yeah, I get all launch because it's all Edge version 87 all the time. So you should see all of these now. So I'm not going to go into any great detail because I know we've talked about these in the past, but just a recap of, if you are responsible for looking at what's coming out in Edge and what's out, you should be seeing all these items now. So you should have the kiosk mode privacy features. Those are now available. Single sign-on is now available for Azure Active Directory accounts on down-level Windows. So I'm assuming that means things that are not Windows 10. In fact, it says Windows 7, 8, and 8.1 will now automatically get signed into websites that are configured to allow single sign-on. The new version of the Enterprise New Tab Page, NTP, integrates productivity with customizable work-relevant feed content. That's kind of cool to see the new homepage for your search engine, and you see blending of external information, internal information. I think that's going to be really cool once people get used to it. Anchored text notes support for PDF files. So starting with Edge version 87, users will be able to add typed text notes on any piece of text in a PDF file.
Nice.
Yeah, that will be really nice. Next one is automatically switching users to their WIP-enabled profile for work sites that authenticate with their work accounts. So it kind of does that thing if you're actually signing into Microsoft Edge. It's going to give you a little bit more flexibility in whether you're going in with your work account or your personal account, things like that. You have click once deployment enabled by default. So click once will be enabled by default, reducing the barriers for enterprises to deploy software and better aligning with legacy Microsoft Edge browser behavior. And two more. The new version of the, actually that looks kind of repeatish from what I just covered. Final one is reset your Microsoft Edge sync data in the cloud manually. And they've introduced a way to reset your sync data from within the product. This ensures that your data is cleared from Microsoft services, as well as resolving certain product issues that previously required a support ticket. So the less you have to contact Microsoft, the better for both of you. So those are all the things that are rolling out. And again, like we said,
launched.
I'm sorry, launched. It was all Microsoft Edge. Yeah, this is really short show.
And then we've only got 3 canceled items. One is Enhanced Threat Explorer. This feature has been moved to 2 different roadmap items and will be removed from the roadmap. So it's not that they're not doing the feature, it's just been split up into 2 different items. And then we've got OneDrive sharing links that block download for video files. The item is being removed and they're working to refine the feature and the date. And then they'll provide a new roadmap item in the future. And then Microsoft Teams, the Microsoft Teams EHR connector, this was just a duplicate, so it's being removed. So
EHR is the electronic health records, so that should be kind of cool.
So that's all we have for this week. That's all that's new.
Short and sweet. It's funny because last week I think they did a lot of cleanup on the roadmap, and we didn't do a show last week because of Thanksgiving. But there were like well over 1,100 items in there. I'm like, how are we going to cover this? Well, we didn't. We just went with this one, and there was virtually nothing. So yeah, it worked out really well.
Just give them a week.
There you go.
All right. Thanks so much, everybody, for attending. Tune in next week where we'll go over all the latest and greatest. Have a great week.
You too. Bye, everyone.